Okay, it's time to do a Varric build for Dragon Age Inquisition, everyone's favourite dwarf who we're going to get to see again in Veilguard. So, as you can see, we are level 25. I am, as always, deep into the Trespasser DLC. So, take this build as you will with as many points as you have and just keep following it until you get to the end of the game. Nice and simple one. Varric is awesome in this game. I love playing as him. So, let's crack it out. And we're going to start. We're going to use a Tactician's Renewal. So if you haven't got one, then don't worry, you might have some of these abilities already. Just pause the video, work your way through the paths based on what skills you already have and what you don't. And if you do want to start fresh because you've bought a Tactician's Renewal and you've got 20 or so points to spend, then feel free to do so. So we're going to start with Long Shot, one of my favourite abilities of Varric. You fire a powerful single shot that delivers more damage the further you are from the target. And we're going to couple this with Archer's Lance, where it will just fire in a straight line and take everyone out. From there, we're going to go with First Blood. You've learned to pick apart enemies that are still unwounded and unweary. You do more damage to enemies that are only lightly injured, 15% damage bonus, and plus 3 dexterity. Now, once you have done that, we're going to dip over to the next skill tree, and we're actually going to take Poisoned Weapons. You coat your weapons in a deadly toxin, making every attack poisoned enemies for a short period of time. Now, if you really wanted to, eventually you could take these, and you just increase your damage or your health. But at this point, I would jump back over to Explosive Shot. You fire a powerful shot that explodes on impact, damaging enemies around your target. Now, what's really good about this is if you were to fire this while your Bianca crossbow is poisoned, you not only cause an explosion, but you also shoot an explosion of poison out as well. So if there's targets around and you shoot into a big cluster, not only are they going to take extra damage, they're also then going to become poisoned, also doing more damage on top. Really, really great ability. Now, Chain Reaction, Shrapnel from Explosive Shot fills the air and sets off deadly reactions that do more damage. Or you can have this one where it causes knockdowns. Chain Reaction is the way to go, just helps with that poison I was just talking about. After that, we're going to go to Death from Above. You do more damage when firing from elevation, and there's a lot of high ground in the game you can place Varric on top of, whether it's up a ladder, on a cliff, whatever. So you can really make use of this. But this is another key one we want, and that is Leaping Shot. You dive out of trouble and fire a hail of arrows at the enemies that were trying to close with you. And after that, we're going to do Rolling Draw. If Leaping Shot hits, you can use the momentum of your leap to do a stronger draw as you come back to your feet. Your next attack, whenever you make it, will knock down its target. And that is so, so good. I use that ability all the time. So we're going to lock those in. Now after this, if you have it available, and if you don't, then just skip this section and come back to it when you do. We're going to move over to the Artificer. And our first ability we are going to take is Spike Trap. So you set a trap that, when an enemy approaches, detonates and flings enemies into the air. This is really good because Varric will often, at least I found, pull a lot of aggro because his damage is so high. And we can couple that with Pyrotechnics, so it creates an even larger detonation. Now after that, we want to Set Them Up. You master the proper placement of spikes on levers. When you spring any kind of trap, your enemies feel it. From there, we are going to take Hail of Arrows. This is amazing. And this essentially creates like 2 almost double of you. So whatever abilities you do twice the amount, and it's amazing. This and Hail of Thorns is, Leaping Shot. This and Leaping Shot is incredible together. So we're going to take that. Now after this, we're going to come down here to Elemental Mines. You throw an assortment of different traps in front of you, applying different elemental effects to enemies that come into range. Now, we're not going to take an upgrade for this because we don't really want this ability per se. What we do want is to take them down. Your experience with finding and pointing out enemy vulnerabilities gives the entire party a better chance of landing a critical hit. Now, if you saw my Iron Ball build, this coupled with Ball is a killer combination. These guys work so well in tandem. After that, we're going to take Opportunity Knocks. So when an ally critically hits, you take advantage of their success with faster reduced cooldown times, which means you can do your other abilities more often. It's amazing. We then have this amazing Full Black plan. Again, not really something we're going to take, nor do we really want the ability of Tricks of the Trade. So we're going to skip both of these, and from here we're going to move over to our Subterfuge path. Now again, if you don't have your Artificer paths ready, come back to it afterwards, and this is where you want to start next. And we're going to take Stealth. Pretty self-explanatory, we just go invisible. After that, we're going to take Evasion. They can't hit what they can't see, makes us even easier to dodge, and we get 3 Dexterity. Now if you want to, you could take Easy to Miss next. Enemies are likely to overlook you in combat, but then that does kind of reduce the effects of your bombs and stuff that you've upgraded, so I would avoid this personally, or I would respec out of this. And we're going to go to Evade. Now we don't want Evade, we want Quick Blade, or sorry, Shadow Strike is what we really want. You launch a surprise attack on your target. If you strike an enemy that did not have you targeted, you regain stamina, which is perfect for continually getting more shots off with Varric. And after that, we are going to pair it very nicely with Long Shadows. You now have to strike without being seen, even at distance. You can now use Shadowy Strike against ranged targets. So these work amazing together. Unfortunately, Shadow Strike is kind of redundant until you get Long Shadows, but it does make it worth it. So after you've locked those in, we are then going to move over to here, and we're going to take Fighting Dirty. All of your Sunder and Poison effects last longer as you make more potent toxins and uglier wounds, which is so good. We're then going to take Caltrops. Again, not really very helpful because we have all our bombs and stuff, but what it does do is enable us to get to look like it hurt. The worst mistake your enemies can make is to see you flinch. Whenever you score a critical hit, you regain stamina. Now from here you have 2 options. If you wanted to, you could go more passives, and you could get Cheap Shot, where your critical hits tear through enemy armor, or Explosive Toxins. What I would personally do is come back here, and we're going to take Pin Cushion. If the first arrow doesn't kill them, the 10th might. Each consecutive hit with a bow attack does progressively more damage. Pair this with Strafing Shots afterwards. You can move faster while firing out, sacrificing accuracy. And then for Draw, this is the biggest archer ability in the game, and we're going to pair this very nicely with Pinning Shot. Enemies hit by a full draw are immobilized. And that is our abilities locked in. We have bombs, we have archer abilities, and we make use of poison. So, how would you set your Varric up with weapons? Well, it's very, very simple. Do not switch out from Bianca. I'm just going to say it's a war crime too. Varric and Bianca are one and the same. But you can upgrade Bianca a lot. I will show you here. This is not a maxed out version of Bianca at all. But if I just give you an example, there's so much you can equip on it. You've got the arms, the handle, and the trigger, something like that. There's 3 different ones you can do. And the aiming, that's it. So, I would personally go for anything that boosts your crit damage, dexterity, and cunning, or attack. Those are the sort of things, as you can see, I've done here. So 24% extra attack, 41% extra critical damage when you hit, and 14 dexterity. Now ideally you want to kind of switch that dex for cunning to boost your crit chance, because if I was to come into my character screen again, and we just go to Varric, if you come to your attributes, just over here, it will tell you exactly what type of thing you have. So critical damage bonus 143, but we've only got 12% critical chance because of such low cunning, because I've not done any of his armor or anything. But as you can see, the damage output is so high. If we were to compare that to a bull, for example, from our last build, critical damage bonus 92, 21% critical chance. So there are ways to continuously buff these people up. So if we come back to our inventory, the other thing is armor. And again, you can kind of honestly take any armor that you like the look of. I would personally do like the Stone Stalker stuff, which you get in, I think it's the Descent DLC, or Prowler armor. Prowler armor is always really nice with Varric. So I'm using the Prowler coat because I think it is the most useful. You see, you get your cunning, your dex, 80% maximum health, 32% range defense, but more importantly, and I think this is an amazing ability, Hidden Blades on hit with 5 added hits. Because of the amount of arrows that Varric hits, the chance of hitting this is so high. It triggers constantly. Again, this is another masterwork ability, but get this and put it on your weapon or armor, and you will watch just how it constantly triggers, because Varric will continuously just keep firing those shots. And what's really cool about this is with the pincushion ability, not only do you do more damage thanks to pincushion, got more chance of doing hidden blades, more chance of doing critical damage. If you get the poison going, then you've got even more poison damage. Varric is just a beast when it comes to dealing damage. So I really hope you guys have enjoyed this build guide. If you have, please drop the episode a like, it helps me amazingly. If you're new and not subscribed, you'd like to, that'd also be amazing, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.